Lights flickered once, then went out. Only the glow from the monitor lit the room, and in its bluish hue, I saw the reflection of the woman I trusted most, holding a lighter. Claire stood still in front of the fireproof cabinet, eyes blank, her fingers steady. The prenup, the contract we both signed before launching the company, fluttered in her hands like a flag before battle. Then she lit the edge. It curled, blackened, and vanished in flame. She didn't even flinch. I watched from the hallway, quiet, in the shadows, like a ghost inside the empire I helped build. I remember the day we signed that document. We were both nobodies back then. Just two Stanford dropouts with a prototype and a promise. If we build this together, and things go south, I'd said, we split clean. Get the equity you built. I keep the code I wrote. Claire agreed. We signed, filed it, locked it in a cabinet. But now, with the company valued at $140 million and Series C talks in motion, Claire wanted more than her share. She wanted it all. 2 days before that night, she'd handed me coffee like any other morning. Same smile, same scent, and said, we need to talk. Then she dropped the word like a bomb. No fight, no affair, just calm, cold strategy. That night, I stayed late in the office. Something didn't sit right. When I checked the filing cabinet, the prenup was gone. I knew it had been there. I checked every month. That contract was my insurance policy, my parachute. Now it was ash. Claire turned and walked away, leaving only a faint whiff of burnt paper in the air. She didn't see me. She didn't have to, 'cause I saw everything. At 3:15 a.m., I opened a private folder on my encrypted drive. Labeled, if she ever tries to screw me, open this. I clicked it. Lines of code, buried NDAs, and an unused trademark application, all quietly registered to me, years ago. Claire thought she'd just erased me. She didn't know I'd been preparing for this from the start. HaldenTech, what you burn isn't what matters. What you back up is. He timed it perfectly. The moment I walked out of my morning pitch call with one of the investors from Soft Valley Ventures, my phone buzzed with a push notification. You've been served. Standing outside my apartment door was a delivery clerk in a navy jacket and an awkward smile, holding a thick manila envelope with my name scribbled across the front. Inside, grounds, irreconcilable differences. It wasn't just aggressive, it was surgical. 3 hours later, she held a press conference outside our downtown office. Camera crews. Branded step and repeat banner with our startup's name. Microphones stacked like trophies. Today, I begin a new chapter, as a solo founder, and as a woman in tech who's tired of being held back. She said the words without flinching. Media devoured it. Breaking, Claire Halden files to remove co-founder from leadership citing mental instability. Lone, on a bench in Menlo Park. She had spun it beautifully. I was no longer a quiet visionary who built the backbone of the tech. I was the unstable ex-husband, clinging to power. But the best trick she pulled, convincing everyone I was already gone. She filed a restraining order, not because she feared me, but because it would keep me off corporate property. Next morning, I received an email from our company's internal systems. Your admin access has been revoked. I didn't even try to log in. She wanted a war of noise, emotion, headlines. I gave her silence. Back at my apartment, I opened my second laptop. Not the work one. Real one. The one with the firewalls, the offline files, and the prototype AI Claire didn't even know existed. One link to the backdoor I'd built, not into the system, but into her strategy. She wanted me out of the company. Fine. Let her think I was gone. 'Cause while she chased cameras, I was already writing the ending. The office lights stayed on longer these days, not because of me. Claire was hosting investor mixers, late-night branding meetings, and podcast interviews from the very space we used to build line by line of code in silence. Now it was all neon panels, craft cocktails, and female founder banners. She was rewriting our history, in real time, and I let her. Underscore 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 underscore. After she locked me out of the system, I did what she never expected. I backed off. I didn't contest the temporary restraining order, didn't respond to press inquiries, didn't post anything, anywhere. To her, and the media, I was a broken man licking his wounds. But inside my quiet rented apartment in Mountain View, I was building a different kind of case. One she couldn't see coming. Underscore 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 underscore. I opened the drive marked black box underscore AI. It was our first full system prototype, trained on real-time image recognition across adaptive behavioral environments. Claire shelved it because it wasn't scalable, but I had kept developing it, privately, quietly. Now it had become something entirely different. Something I could feed evidence into, email metadata, time-stamped video archives, HR contracts, even transcripts from her live streams, and it would stitch the timeline, verify patterns, and output a litigation-ready audit trail. A complete digital reconstruction of Claire's manipulation of company governance, PR exploitation, and financial misappropriation. At the same time, I made 3 calls. 1, to Lena Watts, my former law school roommate, now a partner at a firm specializing in IP theft and digital fraud. 2, to Arvind Patel, a cybersecurity expert I once outbid for a patent, now oddly sympathetic. 3, and to Gabriel Tran, the lead engineer who left the company 6 months ago after Claire pushed him out. Each one picked up with the same response. We've been waiting. Underscore 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 underscore. The next day, Claire's face was on the cover of a tech magazine, the new queen of Valley AI. Claire Halden's rise after personal collapse. She was smiling like she'd won. But that's the thing about round 1. It only matters if you're in the ring at all. And I wasn't. I was already backstage, rewriting the script for Act 2. Because while she toasted with champagne, I was loading her fingerprints into Blackbox. I was tracing deleted contracts. I was watching the cameras she forgot existed. And I was weeks away from pulling her empire out from under her. Quietly, completely, legally. Claire strutted onto the stage in a tailored cream suit like she owned the room. In a way, she did. The keynote banner above her read, "Redefining Innovation, How Women Are Leading the Next Tech Era." There were cheers, applause, hashtag signs, even a standing ovation from the first few rows. She basked in it, the queen of Valley reinvention. This company was built from pain, from resilience, she said into the microphone. I survived gaslighting, I survived betrayal, and I built something better, something ethical. The crowd murmured affirmatively. Every journalist in the room took notes. But what Claire didn't know, the audio feed from her wireless mic wasn't just broadcasting to the hall. It was also recording to a private server I controlled. And it wasn't the only feed. Underscore 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 underscore. 2 nights before her talk, I sent a technician friend posing as a contractor to inspect the AV rig in the main ballroom. He replaced 3 things. 1, the presentation laptop. 2, the teleprompter scroll. 3, the backup microphone line. It routed directly to Blackbox. Not only could I hear her words in real time, I could cross-reference them with past audio logs, emails, and Slack threads I'd quietly recovered from backups. Blackbox was trained not just to collect, but to compare inconsistencies. And right now, it was flagging every sentence she spoke. Underscore 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 underscore. Minute 1436 of her keynote, she said, "I personally designed the ethical framework used in our AI. It was my response to systems that failed the vulnerable." Except 2 years ago, she called that same framework a vanity feature for donors, in an internal strategy session, a session I had full audio of. At 22:04, she said, "My ex-husband tried to suppress my leadership. Said I couldn't be the face of something he invented. Black box fed in a timestamped document. Claire, you should present. You're the better speaker. I'll handle back end. A message from me, 2019. And at minute 31:07, she concluded, "Every line of code we shipped today was built on trust." That was the moment the tool blinked red, because the very algorithm she was demoing was written by me, registered under a sub-company I had founded and parked during our second year of development, under a different name, still active, and still legally mine. Underscore 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 underscore. As the crowd rose again in applause, I sent a message from my secure channel to Lena. Flag all false claims in real-time transcript. Prepare cease and desist draft for IP misuse. Timestamp 014 to 032. She responded with a single emoji, card index dividers. Underscore 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 underscore. Claire smiled, bowed, and blew a kiss to the crowd. And somewhere, deep in the AV backend of the conference center, my digital footprint embedded a final invisible signature into the closing credits of the live stream. Copyright Original Algorithm Architecture License to EM Blackbox, LLC. All rights reserved. She'd taken the stage, but I owned every wire under her feet, every signal she used, every word she uttered, and now, every lie she told was being time-stamped and weaponized. Claire didn't know she was selling to me. That was the beautiful part. A week after her Founders Con keynote, she launched a private Series C funding round. Closed door, ultra exclusive. Only 5 firms were invited. She thought she had control. What she didn't realize was that 2 of those 5 were subsidiaries, quietly wrapped under shell corporations I created over a year ago. LLCs in Delaware, run by proxies. Clean, silent, legal. Underscore 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 underscore. I knew how she operated. She'd go for the flashiest offers, the ones that promised rapid growth and valuation ballooning. So I made sure the winning firm did just that. Alcher Capital Partners. New, aggressive, West Coast darling. Technically run by a man named Victor Hahn. Actually, managed by me. She signed the term sheet on a Wednesday, grinned for the cameras, posted a quote on LinkedIn. Empowered women empower markets. That made headlines. The real headline? She had just given me 28% of her company. And under the structuring of the deal, she'd also given voting rights to that stake, which meant I now had access to internal documents, roadmap strategies, dev logs, and most importantly, the updated cap table. Underscore 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 underscore. She still thought she had won. That I was licking my wounds somewhere, maybe teaching part-time at some startup incubator. But I wasn't watching from the sidelines. I was already inside. And from there, I saw everything. Underscore 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 underscore. On a Friday night, I logged into the partner portal. 3 new uploads had come in. 1. Her finalized licensing deal for my original AI engine, scrubbed of my name. 2. A manipulated version of our original codebase. 3. A PowerPoint deck bragging about Claire's breakthrough ethics layer model. She hadn't just stolen from me, she was scaling the theft, turning it into marketing gold, and selling it on the promise that I'd never be able to prove it. Underscore 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 underscore. Unfortunately for her, I didn't need to prove anything yet, because I now owned a seat at the table. So I let her keep pitching, let her keep building, let her feel unstoppable, because in a few weeks, she'd need that confidence. When I pulled the rug, I wanted her to be mid-dance. That's how you break a thief, not by catching them, but by letting them dance in the spotlight, with the floor already gone. Was poetic, really. Claire sent the termination letter to my official company email, the one I hadn't used in 2 months, because she'd already locked me out of the servers. The subject line was short. Board decision, removal effective immediately. She even CC'd the entire executive team, like she wanted witnesses, like she wanted me humiliated. Underscore 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 underscore. To be clear, I wasn't surprised. Weeks earlier, I'd quietly watched the board votes shift. She'd slowly replaced independent members with influencers, people who owed her favors, media connections, or stock options. And now, in one public move, she finally cut me loose. No more board seat, no more title, no more public ties to the empire I had built. She thought she'd burn the last bridge, but what she actually did was trigger the final sequence I had set in place months ago. Let me rewind. During our last quarter together, I worked on a performance optimization patch for our AI product, a minor update, but I embedded it with a fail-safe line of code, something invisible, undetectable unless you knew exactly where to look. A self-check trigger. If my system access was ever manually revoked by a non-founder, the code would go dormant, then mutate its data pathways slowly, silently, subtly degrading the AI's output over time. Nothing dangerous, just inconsistent enough to ruin its value. Underscore 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 underscore. 10 days after my firing, the first cracks appeared. A hospital client flagged diagnostic drift in the AI's analysis tools. A bank partner reported anomalous facial ID readings. One major investor asked why error rates jumped 0.7% overnight. Claire called an emergency dev meeting. She screamed at engineers, demanded answers, threatened jobs, but she never thought to check why the system had begun failing. Because she didn't know about the code I left behind. She didn't know what I was protecting, or how deep my signature ran. Underscore 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 underscore. Meanwhile, I'd already filed a notice with the US Patent and Trademark Office. That optimization patch? It wasn't just a performance update, it was a new core model, filed under a separate LLC, under my name. With her firing me, and claiming the company had no use for that version, she had just ceded ownership of the very architecture the AI relied on, which meant every deployment of that code violated IP law. Every licensing contract Claire signed, legally void, and the AI product the company was built around, now radioactive. Underscore 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 underscore. By 5:46 p.m., she held a team call where she broke down crying. Not because of me, but because the CTO, her hand-picked replacement for me, had just submitted a resignation. His reason? I can't fix what I don't understand, and I didn't build this. Underscore 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 underscore. I closed my laptop, took a sip of coffee, and smiled, because she hadn't just fired me. She'd untethered the only thing keeping her company upright. And now, she was CEO of a black box full of poison. Claire was radiant, camera-ready in her sapphire blazer, hair pinned just right, chin high, tone warm but authoritative, the perfect face of next-gen AI. The audience was massive. VCs, tech bloggers, young engineers, hedge fund analysts, all watching, all believing the myth. She stood on that stage with our logo behind her, the one I designed, and she introduced her final pitch for Phase 4 funding. Our model doesn't just adapt, it anticipates, it heals, it changes lives. The words rolled off her tongue like scripture, but her voice, her pitch deck, her fake humility, it was all about to fracture. Because while Claire spoke to the world, I uploaded the truth. Underscore 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 underscore. 12 minutes into her keynote, a pop-up appeared on several partner monitors. Not publicly, just to the inboxes of decision-makers watching the stream. Subject line: urgent, licensing conflict disclosure, please review before signing. Inside, a full PDF of the original source code logs. Date-verified commit history showing I was the sole author of the optimization model she now claimed as her ethical breakthrough. Time-stamped emails from years back where she rejected the feature. And a scanned copy of the cease and desist letter served by Lena, filed 24 hours earlier in federal court. Blackbox tracked the open rate. Within 90 seconds, 74% of targeted inboxes had opened the file. And Claire didn't even know. She kept speaking. This next funding round will allow us to roll out to every state hospital by Q3. The moderator on stage shifted uncomfortably. He'd seen it. One investor raised her hand. Claire blinked. Sorry, she asked, off-script for the first time. Can you clarify the status of your IP protection on the current model? We've just been informed there may be a pending injunction. Claire paused. The smile didn't fade, yet, but her eyes flicked down to the teleprompter. It wasn't there. The moderator leaned into the mic. Are you the original creator of the model being licensed today? Underscore 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 underscore. Claire opened her mouth. closed it. The stream feed glitched, not because of sabotage, but because she froze. Silence. Not a glitch in the tech. A glitch in her lie. Underscore 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 underscore. The moment played in headlines the next day. Tech CEO stumbles on IP question mid-pitch. Stock futures drop overnight. Halden's legacy in question after live-streamed interruption. What they didn't know, but what I did, that wasn't just an interruption. That was the first domino. And when it fell, the rest would follow. Claire didn't show up for the hearing. She sent her lawyer instead, a smug, overly tanned man in a navy three-piece suit with more gel in his hair than ethics in his arguments. He walked in like it was a misunderstanding, tried to convince the judge that our claim was procedurally defective, that I was a disgruntled ex, and that Claire had built the IP collaboratively. That's when Lena stood up and hit play. Underscore 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 underscore. On the courtroom monitor appeared an internal Slack message from Claire to a now former engineer. Don't worry about the back-end licensing. It's Ethan's old code. We're modifying enough lines to avoid a problem. A time-stamped video from 6 months prior. Claire giving a private investor briefing where she clearly says, technically it's his algorithm, but we've repackaged it under a new name. Legal won't trace it. A metadata trail from Git commits showing my encryption keys buried deep in the current version of the model's core logic. And finally, the cease and desist notice I'd filed 2 weeks earlier, formally rejected by her legal team with no counterclaim, which was now being used as evidence of willful IP infringement. The judge leaned back, sighed, and said 4 words I'd waited a year to hear. Motion to freeze granted. In that instant, Claire's company was paralyzed. All operations using the disputed algorithm were to be halted. All licensing contracts placed under federal audit. All revenue tied to the tech, frozen. And pending full trial, Claire was now the CEO of a company with 0 legal rights to its own product. Underscore 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 underscore. News broke within the hour. Federal judge freezes operations at HaldenTech amid IP theft claims. Insiders, algorithm wasn't hers. Former co-founder files explosive suit. Claire Halden accused of willful deception, business ethics in freefall. Her team went silent. Her PR firm issued a no comment. Investors began pulling out. Underscore 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 underscore. But I wasn't finished. That night, I uploaded a short, calm video. No music, no theatrics, just me in front of a dark screen, saying one thing. I didn't come back for revenge. I came back for what was mine. It spread like wildfire, not out of rage, but because it felt true. And when something true pierces a lie built on power and fame, it sticks, and it burns. Claire moved fast. After the court froze her company's operations, she resigned from the board, for optics, spun up a shell startup within a week, and launched a teaser campaign about a brand new AI paradigm. New name, new logo, same grift, but the valley wasn't falling for it this time. Underscore 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 underscore. VCs passed quietly. Her emails got polite declines. The media didn't return her PR calls. Worse, any time she pitched behind closed doors, someone leaked it. Not me, the internet. Bloggers posted threads. Same woman, same stolen code, same playbook. How Claire Halden tried to rebrand before the dust even settled. Even Reddit turned on her. Brutal, meme-heavy threads dissecting her keynote quotes line by line, matched with contradictory evidence I'd never even leaked. She was no longer the queen of ethical AI. She was now the founder who lied with a straight face. Underscore 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 underscore. She tried doing a TEDx talk under a pseudonym. Didn't make it past the screening committee. She pitched an equity-free bootcamp in San Diego. 8 women who signed up all asked for refunds within 48 hours after Googling her. She DM'd a junior engineer I'd mentored, offered her equity to join the new venture. The girl replied with a screenshot of the cease and desist. Same people who once cheered for Claire now flinched at her name. Every time she opened her mouth, the internet remembered, and reminded everyone else. Because truth moves slow at first, but once it wakes up, it doesn't sleep again. Underscore 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 underscore. I watched it all from my quiet townhouse in Palo Alto. No press, no posts, just lines of code. My team, a roadmap I'd started sketching alone, long before Claire ever held a mic. Gabriel, Lena, and Arvin were all with me now, running our new shop, rebuilding the right way. Clean tech, transparent ethics, no shortcuts. We didn't chase press, but somehow, the press started chasing us. Underscore 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 underscore. Claire tried to rebuild. But when your name is synonymous with theft, gaslighting, and fraud, you're not a founder anymore. You're a cautionary tale. The envelope was cream-colored, no return address, handwritten, thick paper, like something from another life. Inside, a short letter, no signature, just, "I'm sorry, I wasn't strong enough to build it alone. I wasn't brave enough to tell the truth." The handwriting was Claire's, tight, calculated, like her. I didn't frame it, I didn't burn it, I didn't answer, because I knew what this was. Not regret, surrender. Underscore 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 underscore. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry it didn't work. Sorry that I'd survived, that I'd rebuilt, that I'd done it without her. Underscore 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 underscore. By now, the new product was live. We'd launched under a quiet brand, no big stage, no headlines, just results. Hospitals were using it again, this time with real accuracy. Banks were licensing it under full transparency. We'd even open-sourced one layer of the code, just because we could. Claire's company, gone. Solved. Assets stripped. Pending damages still in arbitration. The last time she tried to apply for a director position at a fintech firm, I didn't stop her. The background check did. Underscore 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 underscore. One night, I walked past a small cafe on University Avenue. A barista was demoing an interface on his tablet to a friend. I paused. It was ours. They finally fixed the emotion bias, he said. You can tell someone built this with real thought. I smiled, kept walking. No need to interrupt. Underscore 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 underscore. Because this wasn't about revenge anymore. She had tried to destroy everything I built. And in doing so, she made me build something better, something untouchable, not just by her, by anyone. Claire sat across from the long mahogany table, paler than I'd ever seen her. Not sick, not sorry, just cornered. 3 chairs down from her sat the legal representatives from Kessler Holdings and Miranova Ventures, the 2 biggest investors from her Series B round. Combined, they'd lost over $64 million in post-injunction valuation collapse. And now they wanted it back. Your client misrepresented the ownership of foundational technology, Miranova's rep said. She falsified performance metrics and knowingly launched with compromised IP. Claire's lawyer opened his mouth to argue, but the Kessler rep cut in. We're not asking for a refund. We're asking for everything. Underscore 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 underscore. Back in the early days, Claire had buried dozens of clauses into her fundraising rounds. Performance bonuses, forward-earning stock options, royalty splits on international licensing, all built on my technology. Now, with the court ruling confirming my ownership, those deals were retroactively illegal, meaning every dollar she received from those contracts was fraudulent gain. Lena slid a document across the table. It was quiet, except for the sound of Claire's breath, shaking. Sign this, Lena said, and we won't pursue full criminal charges, just restitution. Claire didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stared at the paper. This was the final crack in the glass. Not loud, but absolute. After all the PR, all the headlines, all the theft and charm and blinding spotlight, she ended in a beige arbitration room, signing away the last pieces of her name. Underscore 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 underscore. Later that day, we got the email. Settlement confirmed. All personal assets tied to Halden IP are now transferred or frozen pending redistribution. That included her townhouse in Nob Hill, what remained of her crypto wallet, her speaking fees from Tech Vision and Founders Con, and the advance from her cancelled memoir. Underscore 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 underscore. I didn't touch a cent. Every dollar went to the engineers she fired, the designers she underpaid, and the early staffers who left broken after believing in her lie. Underscore 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 underscore. Because unlike her, I never needed more. I just wanted justice. And now, we had it. Claire disappeared. Not physically, not entirely. She moved to Oregon, changed her last name, scrubbed what she could from the internet. No more speaking gigs. No more press photos. No more carefully curated, founder persona. Just, gone. The valley stopped whispering about her. New scandals replaced old ones. Algorithms cycled fresh drama. The world moved on. But I didn't forget, because some of us build legacies, and some burn them, just to feel the heat. Underscore 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 underscore. Our company, rebuilt from zero, was thriving. No celebrity endorsements, no slick branding, just engineers, researchers, hospitals, and clients who cared about doing it right. Gabriel ran Product Now. Arvin handled our data infrastructure. Lena, she started a non-profit legal fund for tech whistleblowers. And me, I coded again. In the quiet. No stages, no spotlights, just the logic, the precision, the clarity that comes with never having to lie about what you made. Underscore 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 underscore. One morning, I passed by a bookstore near Stanford. In the window, a used copy of Tech Queens, The Women Reshaping AI. Claire was still on the cover. I almost laughed. They hadn't pulled the print run. But beneath the photo, a sticker had been slapped on, red and crude. Recalled, misrepresentation of subject's credentials and claims. Fitting. Even her paper legacy had turned to ash. Underscore 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 underscore. Later that day, I got a call from a young founder. She said she'd heard what happened, not the headlines, but the real version, passed around between devs and ex-staff. Is it true? She asked. You let her take everything, just to take it back legally? I smiled. I didn't let her take anything, I said. She just assumed I wouldn't fight back. She was quiet for a second. Then, what would you say to someone building something now, with someone they're not sure they trust? I looked out the window, thought of all the versions of Claire I'd believed in, and said, back it up. Every file, every promise, every line of code, and never confuse charisma with character. Underscore 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 underscore. The call ended. I got back to work. The sun was out. The servers were quiet. And somewhere, in a town where no one knew her name anymore, Claire was starting over. But me, I never had to, because I never lied about who I was. And in the end, that's what stayed. That's what won.